PlayStation has finally released the requirements for adding an external SSD to the PlayStation 5. When the PlayStation 5 came out back in November, Sony said that the additional M.2 SSD expansion slot would not be accessible until a later date. It is now the very end of July, and we finally got the announcement that for beta users, for people who are going to be getting the upgrade to the software through their beta program, will be able to start using that M.2 SSD expansion drive. Now, they released this document here, this web page, whatever you want to call it, and they give you all of the requirements of what you need in order to expand your PlayStation 5 memory, to get an external SSD, to be able to just store more PS5 games, because as we know, they have that little bit of memory in there, that 825 gigabyte onboard SSD, but after the software, after the OS and everything is installed, you only have about like 650 or 656 or something like that. So there is very little memory, especially with the size of games today. And with this expansion, I think that finally PlayStation 5 users are going to be able to expand their drive and get more memory and be able to load PS5 games on something other than the internal drive. But in my opinion, this has got to be one of the worst console designs that I have ever seen, and this just adds to it. Now, I made a video back before the release of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. It got a decent amount of views for my channel, and it got a lot of hate. And basically, I was just saying from my armchair layman's point of view that the Xbox Series X is a better built console. It's a better designed console, and they did a great job with everything that they put into the Series X. It's smaller, it's sleeker. Just when you're comparing these external drives, you have that memory card you just slot in and you don't have to do anything, no thinking, you just buy it, plug it in, and it works. With the PlayStation 5, they decided to go a completely different route. I honestly don't know what they were thinking. People are going to come on this channel who are PlayStation fanboys and think that I'm just hating because I make Xbox videos, but if Xbox did this, I would have the exact same reaction. So here it is. Here are all the requirements for adding an external M.2 SSD to your PlayStation 5. I'm not going to go through it all, but basically to make sure that you have an M.2 SSD that works, you have to have the right speeds, you have to have the right size, and you have to have a heat sink for that SSD. So there are going to be SSDs that meet all of the requirements, size, speed, capacity, all that good stuff, but they may not have a heatsink, so you're going to make sure that you have a heatsink that you buy on top of the actual SSD itself in order for it to function properly. And throughout this page, they give you like screenshots and how to apply the heatsink, if it's a double-sided SSD, if it's a single-sided, all that kind of stuff. And then they come down here in bold and say, Sony Interactive Entertainment cannot guarantee that all M.2 SSD devices meeting the described specifications will work with your console and assumes no responsibility for the selection, performance, or use of third-party products. Now, after everything you have to think about when selecting the correct SSD for your PlayStation 5, it may still not work. Now, there's a couple of things here why I think they put that line in there. One, maybe they're having issues with a bunch of the SSDs they've tested. And two, you can best believe that there are going to be SSDs with manufacturers that PlayStation works with that says designed for PlayStation 5, so that they can mark up the prices of those SSDs and people will specifically go out and buy them because it will take away any of the thinking of, is this going to work? Is this not going to work? I think that's probably the main reason why they have this in there. I don't think it's because if you buy an SSD that meets all of these requirements, it's just going to magically not work. I think what they're going to do is they're going to start releasing designed for PlayStation 5 SSDs that are going to be more expensive than the ones that aren't designed for PlayStation 5, even though those not designed ones for PlayStation 5, if they meet all the specifications, will probably work. Now, the Xbox solution is this memory card, and keep in mind I live in Canada, so these are Canadian prices. If you're watching this from the United States, you may be wondering why is it say $300, but it's because I live in Canada, and I've seen these cards already drop down to like $279. And yes, you could say they're proprietary, so Xbox controls all the pricing, and it's going to reduce the chance that you get these at a better price or a cheaper form of memory. But when I'm seeing what Xbox is doing and what PlayStation is doing, this solution is far superior for a console, especially because I do believe they are going to be reducing the prices for these, like whenever there's sales, like Black Friday, all that type of stuff, you'll see these cards drop in price. Plus, I think there are going to eventually be other manufacturers of these cards that you're going to be able to use. In fact, this is from Xbox Wire, where Jason Ronald was asked, will all storage expansion cards come from Seagate, or could we see them from other companies as well? And he says here, Xbox is continuing to invest in the expandable storage category on Xbox Series X and S with the goal of offering choice for Xbox fans, including additional capacities and implementations in the future. So right there, you can see that there are going to be other manufacturers of these cards, or at least there's going to be other options for these cards, which will reduce the price. And even when we're talking about the price of this expansion card, it's kind of irrelevant because the SSDs right now that are supported on the PlayStation 5 are pretty much just as expensive. So I'm going to switch over here to the US dollar. It is $220 US for one of these expansion cards on Xbox. And Eurogamer here has put up a decent little list of some of the SSDs that are currently working on the PlayStation 5 that will meet the requirements, and we can see that $220 is really very comparable, even cheaper than a lot of these SSDs that you can use on the PlayStation 5. So the first one here is the Fire CUDA. Now there's going to be heatsink editions and non-heatsink editions, but all of that is relevant. Let's just look at the heatsink edition because you need a heatsink for these SSDs to work. You got the Seagate Fire CUDA 530, $255 for 1 terabyte. You got the Western Digital Black SN850, $250 for 1 terabyte. You got the Gigabyte Aros NVMe Gen 4 7000S, $200, Patriot Viper $225, the Samsung 980 Pro $200, and the Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus $200. And these are all for 1 terabyte. So as you can see, they're right all in the same price range. Now you can look at the Samsung 980 Pro, you can look at the Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus for $200. You'll be paying $20 more for the Seagate expansion card on the Xbox. But if you ask me, I mean, paying that extra $20 for the ability just to plug it in and have it working and not have to take apart your console in order to install it is worth it to me. But here it is, we finally got that announcement for the M.2 SSD. And yeah, I'm kind of basking in how stupid this is because in my opinion, it just shows that the design difference between the Series X and the PlayStation 5 is huge. I mean, the Series X is a much better designed console. They've thought about everything in terms of quality of life features. It's just night and day in my opinion. And I honestly think that the PlayStation 5 is going to get a significant redesign in the near future. I would not be surprised that if in a year or two there is a new PlayStation 5 that comes out that gets rid of all of these little issues that is plaguing it right now. And I'm not even trying to be a hater. I'm even wearing a blue colored shirt here for PlayStation. I just continue to think back to that initial video that I made way back in the day, and the amount of people that did mental gymnastics to defend the actual design of the PlayStation 5 was mind-boggling. And again, if this was on Xbox, I would be having the exact same opinion. And I think that the PlayStation 5 is just a badly designed console, and they're going to have to do something, like I said, in the next year or two to redesign it to take care of these quality of life issues, because I can't imagine somebody who isn't at least a little bit tech savvy, maybe even just like moms who are buying this for their kids, or even dads that are buying this for their kids, or just somebody like my age or somebody in my situation who just wants to play video games and they want it everything plug and play for it to work. This is not going to do that for them. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Is it that big of a deal? Do you think that this is a better solution than the Xbox solution, or vice versa? Let me know all of your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you like what you see throughout this video, I'd really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow and help grow this community so we can have great conversations in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.